Welcome back to Game On. Stereotypes. Every time you see a 14-year-old kid who's interested in games or animation, his parents would be quick to say, go back to your room and finish your homework. Well, let me introduce you to someone special today on the show. It's a 14-year-old, yes, an animator, yes, but also a CEO. She is 14. She's smart enough to clear her exams without going to school, bold enough to chair meetings in her animation company, Sepan.com. Sepan, an animation company that was started a year ago, has a CEO who's probably the youngest in the world. Sindhuja Rajmaran, all of 14, take a good hard look at her, and she is, you'll have to hear it twice to believe it, she's the CEO of an animation company. Wow, now how does that feel?
I feel more responsibility, I'm just learning every day. I learn what is corporate and how should I behave in corporate world. It's not so difficult, but it's so hard to follow, and if you follow, you'll be a great CEO of any company.
That is obvious, and I'm going to ask you something that I'm sure a lot of people have asked you already a lot of times.
Yeah, that's
How did this happen? And more importantly, the moment when you were told that, okay, Sindhuja, you are the CEO, what was going through your mind?
I don't know what's the meaning of CEO. So me and my father laughed each other, and he said, okay, we'll just think twice with my mom. And we went home. I was talking with my mom casually, not even taking this seriously. And later my mom came here, meet Mr. Kumaran Mani directly, and she cleared some questions because I'm going to quit. I'm going to stop going to school for some years. So she cleared some of her doubts, and with my mom we released Sepon on October 13th on night. They took me to the end of the office, and it was so grand and nice. And I don't know what CEO. I kept the name. My sister kept the name. Sepan is entertainment in Japanese.
Okay.
So it was nice and fun, so creative.
Alright, so Sepan now, it's been almost a year now. It's been
Yeah.
a year, more than a year in fact. And you've been the CEO of Sepan more than a year. How has it been handling things? What have you,
I did
what
lot of
happens in your
mistakes.
office?
I did a lot of mistakes, but there was no one to ask a question why you did it. Because every day I did a mistake, I learned something of it. Small things, taking notepad with me. This was not thought through words.
Why do you love animation so much, and why this animation company? What does Sepan do exactly?
Japan, everybody's now having cell, MMS, and receiving multimedia messages. And my aim is to bring animation in everyone's cell. It's not a simple animation that it may be an advertisement, or it may be in jokes, SMS, or the person who wants to express his emotion or sadness. It can be in animation. Like smiles we use, and it can be no words, it's fully in animated message. So I want to put everywhere in everyone's cell, on mobiles or smartphones, on internet, on online, smart tablets. Animation should be in everywhere. It's so creative, and everyone can understand their message so easily.
A glimpse of her talent was visible from a very young age, when she was all of 11 years old and made an animation on tuberculosis.
It's TB is curable. My father was working as an health inspector, government health inspector in government department, and when he got voluntary retirement for our sake, and he asked me to do animation on TB, as tuberculosis is curable. And he gave me the idea, and I tried to create it by myself without seeking my father's help. I think it took more than 6 months to complete it. It was so difficult that I used to get mad. I just jump out of the computer and say I will never continue this project hereafter. But slowly I got those idiotic patience. I just sit before the computer, and till it comes I'll try hard. and somehow I got it, and it took 6 months to complete one 2-minute short film.
Sindhuja may have miles to go before she could compete with the top-notch CEOs in the nation, but as of now, she's playing the game really well. It's time for me to head in for a very short break on Game On. After the short break, do join me to find out how good are the latest games in town in the review segment. Welcome back to Game On and welcome back to the review segment. Before I tell you which game I'm going to review today, let me tell you a small and interesting story. Pixie is an adventurous girl and she wants to climb on the top of a skyscraper. Well, she manages, but while she's at the top, there's a slight tremor that causes her to lose her grip. Her climbing cord snaps and she falls down 100 feet below on the concrete road. What am I talking about? The Core Gang, a fantastic Wii game. Well, she rises to her feet, completely unharmed, and walks over to a pedestal where a glowing console beckons. Curious, she presses a button and a power suit appears. She equips that suit, of course, and thus begins the Core Gang Outvasion from Inner Earth, a cute and quirky platformer that overcomes its frustrations with plenty of surreal charm. Pixie's ability to climb the skyscraper might have been a complete failure, but she succeeds in navigating the fantastic world. And what graphic designs! So there's another character called Mad Boy, who's not only good looking, but also extremely powerful. He can not only punch and kick you in the face, he can also throw bombs and snowballs at you. And he can even deflect projectiles. Well, basically this guy, Mad Boy, is a complete melee guy. The three heroes wind up sharing control of the same suit, which has a huge belly that improbably houses whichever two characters aren't in charge at a given moment. You can swap out characters at the press of a button, which you do frequently to complete each of 32 stages. All in all, there are three characters in this game: Pixie, Mad Boy and Rex. Now, as it happens in any other game of this genre, what happens is as you graduate in the game, you learn new abilities and then you can unlock new characters. Initially, you have access only to Pixie, but the best part about this game, the best part about the core gang, is that every time you pick up a new ability, there's a test close at hand where you can test it. Now that makes the gameplay quite a lot of fun. And apart from that, all these three characters, they're quite quirky. So you see yourself getting engrossed in each character's story in itself, which makes the gameplay fantastic.
Ooh, yeah, cool. We're out again.
Hey, come here. We won't hurt you, I promise.
Hey, what's up? Reba is the resistance movement, and Morphar is your leader.
Rex!
Rex is the dog.
Yeah! Oh boy, I'm so glad you're back. What happened? Okay, let's go.
Don't tell me you understood what he said.
The most disappointing aspect of the core gang is the way that some of the redundant stages occasionally drag on because the controls don't always feel right. The first time you crack a safe, it's kind of interesting. Some stages require you to crack 2 or 3 safes though, and that is less engaging. Well, it is interesting to note that this game has a hint of RPG in it. Now, I don't mean that you'd get to play a role and get to talk to a lot of people, but for example, if you have to unlock a gate, you would be required to explore the entire area. And at times, you'll find out that trash-talking worms can serve as keys to gates. Well, there's something else called collectible items, which in this case, in this game, is called Zeeks. Now what happens is, if you collect enough Zeeks in a particular level, then you not only get a medal, but you also get to unlock a few character profiles. Despite its flaws, the core gang Outvasion from Inner Earth is an excellent option for children and even for adult gamers who crave a rousing adventure that makes the most of the Wii hardware. Though it occasionally lacks creativity in level design, the game nonetheless offers 8 to 10 hours of clever platforming action. Core Gang is a reference to 3 mad scientist types who sound a lot like Ren and Stimpy. When they unexpectedly burst into song, some of the musical numbers will possibly have you in stitches. The dim-witted members of the resistance movement have a personality of their own as well, and the distinctive voice work is accompanied by a lovely soundtrack that somehow manages to make even the dullest corridor come to life. The Core Gang is not a game that I would recommend to you right away, not unless you're below 10 years of age. But nevertheless, my ratings are coming up right away, and if you happen to have some extra cash on you, you could give this game a try. What you also can do is you can let me know if there's anything latest in town that the Game On crew has missed out on, if there's any latest game that you'd want us to review, rate or analyze for you. All you have to do is send a mail to feedback@ndtv-hindu.com. And you can also challenge anyone for a game of your choice. It could be a game on Xbox, PS3, Android, Facebook, anything. All you have to do is send a mail to feedback@ndtv-hindu.com and I'll find a challenger who's more than a match for you. Wish all you gamers a fantastic new year, and I'll see you again next week. The game is essentially for kids, so 7 on 10 on the concept. The graphics of this game are not extremely good, but they're decent. 7 on 10. You would enjoy this game only if you're below 10 years of age. 8 on 10. And the soundtrack of this game is very lively. 9 on 10. The question of the week is, which team won the FIFA challenge in this episode? A. Barcelona, B. Chelsea, C. Real Madrid, or D. None of these? Send in your answers to feedback@ndtv-hindu.com and win exciting prizes. You can also now follow us on Facebook.